Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my second project that I designed for Country Craft Creations using Cartabella's Fall Market. This is made out of the leftover papers that I had after doing my first project, which was a mini album that is on my YouTube channel, as well as the tutorials for it. There will be a tutorial for this little project right after this walkthrough portion of the video. This is what I'm calling a card album. This particular design has been done before by many other people, but I just kind of added a different little twist to it, and I think you'll enjoy making this. They're real quick, easy little gifts to make, and you can add pictures to it. So this is, again, the Cartabella Fall Market paper. I used the 12 by 12 papers, what I had left over from making my first project. This is layered with some foam squares underneath. This is a cut apart card, and this is a chipboard piece here. I used seam binding ribbon that I scrunched up from Country Craft Creations. You can order the collection and your craft artisan cardstock and the ribbon from her store, from Tamara's store. And these are all the papers, the pattern papers for the collection. On the back I used the wood and a cutout of the strip of paper. These are flowers from my stash. These were leaves that were a light blue. I didn't have the fall colors I wanted, so I colored them with my Copic markers. So they turned out really well, and I liked how that turned out. So this is 6 by 6, and it's made out of 2 sheets of 12 by 12 craft artisan cardstock. So you just untie this ribbon on the side, and then lift it open. It does have a magnet closure here that holds it closed. You can hear it snap there. On the left side here, I have what I call a belly band for this piece. This is a cut apart attached to another cut apart that was cut down. I used something else on another project that I made, and then I just like the way it was attached, and that when it slides in here, you can just see this little piece here of this image here. This is a Fotomat that I glued down in out of the scrap of paper, out of the pattern paper. And on this side we have a belly band, and you can tuck in a Fotomat or two, and then a cut apart. I did glue it further in for the magnet closure, so these will stay in pretty tight. Now you flip this down, you slide this up. This bottom section here has this ephemera piece that I glued just on the bottom and the sides to make a tuck spot. I have a little booklet here I made out of just a scrap of paper, and then added a ephemera piece. And I like to use my pattern paper scraps as Fotomats as well. And then up here on this part is a pocket, and I do use different layers. I use this as an ephemera piece and some of the chipboard dots that come with the collection. This is another ephemera piece here and here. Just layered some of the cardstock on the pattern paper and folded in half to make a booklet. So that tucks in, and you could also put pictures in there. So when this folds back up, then this one folds down, and you have this pocket in here. Again, pieces of scrap paper to layer that up, and then scraps of the paper to make different size Fotomats. Some of the artisan cardstock as well makes good Fotomats. So that tucks in there. This is a belly band on the top. It doesn't tuck in very well because I have this piece of the papers attaching, so you might want to consider that and make it a solid sheet, but I can slide them up from the bottom like this. So again, I utilize some scraps of the paper. So I've already shared that part, and then we open this up here, so you see the full 6 by 6, and this is a tuck spot here, and as well this is a mat, and but you can tuck the photo under there, and then I use ephemera pieces on this. So that's the little fall card album, and if you'll stay tuned, there will be a tutorial on how you can make one of these. They make really quick, easy picture holders, little gifts, card gifts. You could make a little box for them and just have a really good time with any occasion. Be sure to check out Country Craft Creations online store for all your supplies, such as the seam binding ribbon, the artisan cardstock, your pattern papers, different ephemera packs and chipboard packs, and of course your adhesives, art glitter glue, and score tape. Stay tuned. Thanks. This is a quick and easy little project. All you need to make one of these is a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. I'm using the Craft Artisan, and I'm just putting it into my scoreboard. Now, if it doesn't lay flat, you might have to trim off just a tiny bit. Check your papers to make sure on that. This one did not need trimming. So we're going to score it in half. Since it's a 12 inches wide, we're going to score it 6. Just put your score mark in there. Pick it up, turn it all the way around, and make one more 6-inch score mark. Make sure you've got it in straight all the way across. Score down 6 inches. So what we have is 4 6-inch squares. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut out one of these squares. Now, cut to the, here I'm cutting to the left side of that score line as straight as possible, all the way up to the center. And now turned it, and I'm cutting it to the right of that score line just a little bit to cut this square out. And I sometimes take my smaller scissors and kind of finish this right here where there's a point. So now we have an L shape. Save this, you might need this for another thing. And we're going to score this. I'm going to burnish and fold. I'm folding along the bumps, and by cutting it just to the, not right on the line, it now folds up really nice. So I have a piece of extra that I cut away from this when we made it, so it is also 6, but I'm going to cut this down to about 3. We'll just cut it in half, so you could actually make 2 pockets of this. This is going to be the front cover. We're going to drop this down, and so I'm going to glue this right in here. Now you can wait. I'm going to need to trim down a little bit of the edge here. You want to make sure that it fits. Let's check it there. So right like that. You just don't want it to go into your fold. So I'm going to trim just a tiny bit more off. So just adjust it as you need to make a pocket. And you can pattern this inside and then glue this down over it, or you can just make pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. So I have my art glitter glue that you can get at Country Craft Creations. I'm just going to put a line of glue right there along the edge. So my glue is not coming out. Let's see if we can get it to start coming out of the little tip here without having to clean it out much. So on the side, along the bottom on just one edge. Sometimes when you haven't used the glue yet, I used it yesterday and now it's kind of like clogged up down in there somewhere. So you have to work with it. This does not want to work today. I do apologize. I should have already got it going. I may have to switch bottles. There we go, that's better. Put some glue right back up here at the top. And so I'm going to make this the bottom where the fold is, and I'm just going to place this right along that fold. And let's kind of make sure it's going to the cut edge to keep it away from the fold here on the left. So I kind of slid it over, and I'm going to burnish that to make sure it attaches down good. And I'm probably going to use a ribbon closure, so I'm going to decide on that, and we'll put that on before I start adding any patterned paper. I'll use this brown seam binding ribbon that you can order from Country Craft Creations. It came in my designer kit. So I'm going to take a little bit of score tape. I have the 3/8 inch here, and I'm just going to kind of put it across the back. I'm just eyeballing it, put it down straight across the center here to hold this down until I get the pattern paper on. So I want a good amount to tie, so I'm going to put it here. And pay attention that this is my left side. I've got my pocket here. So I'm going to make this an equal amount. Just pull this up. Maybe more than I needed, but I'd like to be sure. Whatever I cut off I can use for tags. So This is probably going to tie probably on the side. So I didn't have enough pattern paper to make an elaborate or a more detailed folio, but I thought this card album would be something you could make really quick and easy for a gift. You could even make a custom envelope if you wanted to and pop it in the mail. So yeah, these are a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie a knot. I like to tie knots in my seam binding because the ends will fray. Kind of leave it a little bit longer down here to make sure of what I need. But I like to tie it in a knot and then let that end just fray, and it won't go past the knot. At least I've never had one that did. So I'm gonna just, and then you can crinkle this up if you want to. For now, I'm going to leave it smooth. Okay, so now we have that. So I'm going to go ahead and measure. Since these are 6 by 6, a solid piece, you would probably want to be cut your patterns 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. I'm going to speed up the camera and not do it in detail, but speed it up so you can still see what I'm using and when I piece different parts of this. So let's speed that up. Now I think I want the pattern paper on my cover underneath the ribbon, so I'm going to open this up and I'm going to go ahead and start cutting and adding pattern paper. Okay, so what I did is I took a second, made exactly the same way. It's a 12 by 12 piece of paper, cardstock, score it 6 inches in each direction, and then cut out one 6 by 6 square so that I could stack it on top of the page. This is our pocket here. So this is the page that folded up on the first part. I cut it down, I cut off 3 inches, and I put glue on the back side of each end and across the bottom and attached it to this one page. So that extended my album even more. So I like how that turned out. I'm sorry I hit the wrong button and obviously turned the camera off. So now I have patterned this one. See, when this folds up, just like that, we're going to tie it close. That gives us more pages in this card album, and I like that. It's a little different from perhaps from some that you've seen originally, but you could just keep adding. You just have to be careful and probably do it from the back, perhaps, so that everything folds up. So this is as thick as I'm going to make it, so I'm going to go ahead and keep the camera on and keep adding pattern paper to my album that I have made here. Okay, so after I got all the pattern papers on, this was initially going to be my cover. But you may have to check, see how this pops up. So it needed to have had a little more room in there. But if I take this and fold it in and fold this, it gives me a little more flatness. So you can check yours that way and we can still tie it down. So just decide if you're okay with this part, if yours pops up a little bit. See how that one pops up? But I'm thinking of putting a magnet here and here and then adding something to cover that up, which will make it lay down flat. So adding the extra the second album piece fold outs made this a little thicker than it maybe should have been, but I still think it's going to work and turn out really cute. So I'm going to go ahead with mine and keep working on it and share the finished album once I get it all done. And like I said, if you put magnet in here after it's patterned, you will just cover it with a cut apart card or a strip of paper, whatever you need to do to cover that up. See, like you could add, not this one, but maybe another plaid strip in here. You could make it a belly band if you wanted to, and it would have magnets. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to grab 2 big magnets. I'm going to use a plus and a minus. So I just might as well go ahead and show you this real quick. I'm going to peel the backing off of one side. And we're going to stick it down center about 3/4 of an inch in. Peel the other backing off. And press that down on the side that needs to be held down. See, now that will hold it down. So we lift it up, and now we just need to cover this. So I'm going to cut this strip. It's already 5 7/8. And I'm going to cut it about 7/8 of an inch wide. That'll cover that magnet up. Now this is going to be a little bit more narrow belly band on the side. I'm just straightening up this strip that I've already cut. Okay, so this is going to lay across right here. Oh, and it wasn't cut to 5 7/8, so let me trim that down. Now then, so this will go over here like that. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put it on the magnet here because I know that's where I'm going to have to glue it. So I'm just going to make this a belly band that's, you can glue a picture over it, or you could put a tag between in the center part of it. Up there, burnish that down. And over that magnet, make sure it gets stuck down good. So it's open here where we can slip something in like that. Okay, and then this side I need to cover this one up. Get some glue that's squished out. So I'm going to decide what I want to do with this. I may use a cut apart, see what I've got here, and then I'll show you what I've done. This left side I cut a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece of the paper, and I am going to glue that over that magnet. Make a Fotomat. So I'm just go ahead and get my glue here. So utilize all your scraps to correct anything you might need to or decorate it up. I'm going to center it pretty good. Here we're going to, so you can add a photo there, or if we wanted to add a cut apart here we could. And I matted to about an inch wide piece of the cardstock that I measured at 6. What I'm going to do here is like make a little belly band here. And I'm just going to snip the end just a little bit. It's a little too long. I'm just going to glue that because these are two different patterns of floral patterns, and I wanted a little bit of the craft to kind of highlight around the edges of it. So just deciding which directions I want it to be, like that. And I'm just going to glue it on the ends and catch the edge of this Fotomat with it. So I'm going to put it right here and right here. Okay, and we'll line it up so that we can make sure it's straight. There we go. I think that looks better. Okay, so we got two patterns here, but we've got it separated by the craft a little bit, and then we have a space here. We can put a photo in here and it can go under, or we can put another tag or a cut apart. And then we have this belly band over here. If I had thought about it, I would put some craft under it, but I like it okay. It's going to work just fine. So now that closes up with a magnet, and then we can tie it. So I'm going to go ahead off camera, and I'm going to finish decorating this, and then I will share the finished card mini album with you that has all these neat little tuck spots and pockets and things, and flips and flaps. So this is made out of two 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, and on one full sheet of the pattern paper, some larger pattern papers, and then a lot of scraps.